Red is on.
Today is Thursday, February 15th, year 2018. Time is 4:46. Let this meeting of the Tilton Board of Selectmen now come to order, and let the record show that all the selectmen are present. Let us stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public Works Director.
Yep.
I didn't see the abatement. John's done the abatement. Is that it?
These two.
This is mine. No, that's not mine.
No, those are elderly.
Yeah.
In the orange folder.
My abatements.
With,
Thank you for bringing the
I
car back.
sent them that way.
You know what? It's all inspected.
You said two when you came in.
Yeah, I just,
They
well,
went
no,
that way.
I called to Kevin, because Kevin was out today. And he said, I brought the car back, and he said, the car's not inspected.
I sent them to,
Those are elderly.
huh?
That's an elderly.
I tried it.
Oh, those were the only two
Those are elderly exemptions.
oh, those were the top two. Unless it's buried in there.
The abatement and the warrant, supplemental warrant
So,
from Lauren to put in.
we're going to be talking about a warrant later.
They have copies of the warrant.
I know I've had a conversation with you, but with the rest of the board. Where are you with the whole fire department working on their equipment?
I put it in my report. I think, in light, I mean, I have a lot of information, and I've gathered a lot of information, but right now, I think in light of what's going on, I think we probably should hold off until next year so we can get some more.
Might be.
I mean, it's gonna take a couple of months to get the inspection station changed over to a public, you know how the state is, you're gonna be dragging your feet to do that. In order to do that, you have to be, it's away from the town of Tilton now. Now we have to go to a public inspection station and not just a fleet inspection station to inspect vehicles that are out of the public. So we're gonna have to change that, which isn't, I've called the state, we don't have to inspect cars, we don't have a limit that we have to do. But in order to be a fleet, it has to be vehicles that are registered to the town of Tilton.
Okay.
Not Tilton Northfield Fire District, they have to be to the town of Tilton. And my other big thing is the insurance. What happens if that thing falls, if for some ungodly reason, that's up in there, in the shop on the 10-ton jack and something happens, and that fire truck falls, God forbid it hurts one of our guys, but the truck gets broken. Who's reliable, who's responsible for that? Is the town responsible for that? And do we carry the liability insurance to?
So yeah, there's a whole lot of angles.
There's a lot of
Still have
angles
to
that
be
you
there.
have to look into before you can just jump into it.
So we can,
It's a great, I mean, it would, with more time and investigation on things, it could be a great plan. It just, there's a lot more things to look into than just, hey, let's throw in a fire truck and start collecting money.
I believe,
Go ahead.
I believe we decided to take that off, didn't we, last week?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. All right, so you're gonna continue to,
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of the stuff, but like I said, it just, there's stuff in there that takes time, and it's not something that just happens overnight.
how's our sand and salt?
This is on me, and me and Tim have been keeping up with it. It's gonna be tight. It is gonna be tight. We've used a lot of salt, but I've called around to other towns just to check and ask to make sure that it wasn't just me and everybody. It's not just Tilton that's using a lot of salt. Everybody's using salt. And like I was talking with Mike over in Meredith, and he's like, I've used double the salt that I've used in the last 10 years already.
They've been reporting on the state's usage.
And, well, the state is, the thing with our salt is the state buys so much salt that the state gets first pick on any salt. So let's, and right now, hauling salt everywhere. It's almost a short, I'm surprised the price hasn't jumped up yet. So we've used a lot of salt, but so hasn't everybody. It's not just us that's using the salt. And with the ice storms that we've been having, it's really, I mean, I guess, and my overtime is right there, but I guess I can send everybody home, and then we come back into an inch of ice on the road and then try to get it off. It's not feasible. It's the weather pattern that we're having, and I was behind the 8 ball on the weather pattern this year. I thought I was going to be perfect, and it's going to be close. I'm not saying that it's not going to be over like it was last year, but it's going to be close.
You anticipate increasing that at town meeting?
I'd like to see where we go. My salt shed's full right now. I've got enough money left to fill it one more time. So if we don't have any big ice storms, I think I can make it work. It's just, if we get ice, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't just sit there with an empty shed of salt and
You
go,
only have one, if you only have enough money to fill it one more time, we still have October, November, December to get through this year. And you're not gonna have enough money to do that.
you're right. But I didn't, like we just said, and we were here before, we planned for the normal, not for the catastrophic. And
But
this
even-
year is catastrophic.
So this year, at town meeting, we need to go in or increase it before town meeting because you're gonna need it. If you only have enough money in there for one more fill, it's not going to make it. Say you use the fill that you have right now and
Right.
you fill it. You're not gonna make it through 3 months of what.
Well, no, I think
Shed.
How many trailer dumps are you talking as a fill?
there's a fill, is about 100 tons, so 4.
So Pat, he may have 4 and then still money for 2 more.
Right. I have probably 85 ton in the shed right now. My sand salt's full, my sand is full.
And you go through 100-ton a storm.
Depending on
Depend on the storm.
It depends on the storm. It's not
So if
it's
we get
not
a
set
mix,
that,
if we
okay, I'm
get
going
a
to use
mixed
100 ton, that's
ice,
it.
if we get a mixed snow and ice, I don't want to get caught at the end of
So,
November, December when we don't have any money.
And
left
I'm not
for
putting the
salt.
blame on anybody.
Oh, we're not putting the
you
blame on
need
anybody
to-
either.
It's
So
the
you
weather.
need
It is.
to let us know first Thursday in March, right? Yeah, 'cause second Tuesday, first Thursday in March, let us know. That would be March 1st.
Yeah, because you,
Because and I'll explain it to you a little bit. If you get a wet, heavy snow, if you get 10 inches of wet, heavy snow, means when it's wet and heavy, that means the temperature's up. The salt works great. It gets it off easy. When it's 25 below zero and you get 15 inches of snow, the salt doesn't work as good.
It's dry.
You gotta put more up. And Winter Street, Califf Hill, Lancaster Hill, you can't scrape that off. It's so rough, the plow blades don't scrape it off. So you gotta burn it off at the end to get it, and I'm being honest. The state roads that we deal with are terrible. They're beating the crap out of our vehicles. And
I hope you're going to be here on the 22nd.
well, my son has his senior night for hockey in Berlin, so I'm gonna come back from then, and I'll be here for the meeting on 23rd.
It's not that important, I would say, up there.
Well, no, it is
much more
important, because I
important.
wanna hear what they have to say about this whole Califf Hill deal. I don't,
Yeah.
So you'll need to let us know first part of March,
Right.
you know, what we've done for storms, what you anticipate you
Right.
need in the fall, if we need to increase that budget.
I honestly, if it goes good, we may have to increase it a little bit, like Pat said, because we've got 2 months at least, November and December, that we might have something or we might not.
Yep.
So, I mean, if we had this shed full at the end of the year, or even half full, the storms in the beginning of the year aren't like the storms that we get, you know what I mean? It's just coming into it, so we can make it worse. And I say that now, I'll probably be chewing on my foot here from December, but
I agree with
I
you.
can't imagine how I survived the 60s traveling 95 in Maine north of Bangor, 2-lane road in a snowstorm, and all they put was sand down. It
if
worked
they
fine.
did that.
It was fun passing the tractor trailers because it was white out for like 50 feet or so, and it was like, I hope no one's coming.
And the Bangor.
I'd like to see us, if we look at the town, a lot of our major roadways are in stormwater or groundwater protection zones, yet we only focus on a minute portion in the town.
You want to expand it?
I think we should look at ways of reducing salt.
The problem with that, Peter, is if like, eventually, you're gonna see them do away with sand. So we're gonna have to, because, right.
I think your environmental impacts of salt are going to outweigh the
They are,
sand.
but I mean, I think the whole thing's gonna come to a head, and they're gonna have to figure out some, they're pushing that brine so much now, and that's worse than,
Well, I think probably the public works departments are, but you're now beginning to hear the reports on the effect of
I don't
the
think it
salt
works.
use in our streams.
right.
I hadn't heard that before, but now you're beginning to hear that. I mean, we all know that DOT's drains go directly to the body of water.
Right to
We have
the-
them right here.
I mean, they run right into the river. It's
The
not-
best way is how do they thaw them out? Calcium chloride down. So,
We don't do that, by the way.
yeah, so we'll see.
No, we
So
don't
has our new
steam.
guy started yet?
we use
Our new guy started yet?
Tuesday.
20th.
Tuesday, okay.
And he did, I talked to him on the phone, he informed me that if it's okay with me, that he'd like to go take his written test for his CDL that afternoon. So I was like, absolutely, by all means. He's ready to,
Yep, wonderful. That sounds great.
I was down in the Manville Road area the other day. Yesterday, Tuesday, whatever. Where we cut the trees, the road is great.
because the sun gets in there.
Yep. I mean, it's perfect example. If anybody wants to see that effect, it works, and it's worth it. But the first part is still,
It's, and you can't, if you can't treat it, it's.
Something to look at, I think it's an ice rake, and you put it on like a loader, and it's like a bunch of
coming in.
wheel, and it sort of just chews it up.
Right.
And they use it a lot up
Yeah, it's
in
like an
Canada.
aerator type of thing,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen them, yeah.
They use
And
it.
I think
I-
when we get a couple of good warm days, we'll go down there with the loader and peel it right off. It's not a big deal.
Especially,
But it's-
especially coming out as you come into the corner, you get a big bump, so
Right.
it's pushing people into the middle of the
Into the
road.
middle of, yeah, no, because we've been fighting with the ice up on Caleb Hill
Yeah.
and Lancaster, we get the equipment up there 3 times a week trying to scrape them ice mounds off there. It just gets so big. It becomes very dangerous to travel on, so. I don't know, I guess I can.
So the only way we're going to make Manville, that section of Manville better is with some sort.
Well, we're gonna
How
talk
wide's
about
the
that
right
now.
of way, Catherine?
Pardon?
How wide is the right of way coming up through that area? Because there's a bunch of pines that are potentially ours.
I don't know, I'd have to look at the survey we had done.
Because I'm not sure when they cut it, how close to the line they ended up.
Well, but when we cut the pines in the other section, we lucked out because there's nothing behind them, because that pond's there.
Well, if you look what's behind it, behind the pines is
Much?
not a whole lot. Most of the pines are closer to the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that,
That might not be a bad idea to maybe look at taking some of them down
right.
this spring and opening that up to let some sunlight in there, because where the sun lays in it, it heats up better during the day and melts all that stuff anyway, so.
We have a survey. So it's exactly where.
But, I mean, I'm not sure what it costs to get all those trees removed last time, I
Right.
think it was expensive.
Well,
We had a good deal about it
we
because
had
it
a
was
very good
50.
deal.
Yeah, on that one.
If you can find somebody that will do it by the tree, like
Yeah.
but I got a pretty good rapport with Aspen, so we might be able to work something out as far as,
Well, this fellow, he took the trees, right?
He did everything, yeah.
Yeah, so that was part of the deal.
But it's what you want for your deal too.
it's how you wanna work it, is
Yeah.
all that, how that works, yeah.
I think he chipped them all.
You ain't, I don't know if he didn't.
Yeah, I saw, but we just needed
No,
to
it's just
go.
the bottom 5 feet will probably waste because,
That's what people used to pound nails in for fences back in the
yeah,
day.
because I think you could see on 1 or 2 stumps where the barbed wire had gone through.
Well, and if you bring that to a mill and
Yeah.
they put a magnet on it to
Yeah.
make sure, because they don't wanna
Right.
ruin a $20,000
Right.
saw blade.
Oh, yeah.
And they will, if you bring something with a nail in it, it's
Oh,
not,
I'm sure.
I'm not excited.
Yeah.
What is, briefly?
Yep.
Asphalt rubber chips, from the
It's a membrane that goes over the top of the asphalt that's there, and it's designed to prolong the pavement that's there. And these roads that I've put on here, I kind of are still in fairly good shape. So talking with Bruce at Allstate, and looking, I've been keeping an eye on Route 132. The traction is better in the wintertime, and it's,
Is that popcorn mix?
no, that's rubber chip seal, that's rubber.
Okay, because it's similar to what Vermont calls popcorn mix, which is 3/8 stone and liquid asphalt only. It's
Right.
open graded.
Yes, and this is, I actually
I think
have,
that's designed the same, so what it is, because there's no fine
I've never
aggregate.
seen that stuff.
There's holes so that in non-freezing weather, the rain goes down through to
Right.
the top of the base and then drains, so you don't hydroplane. I just wonder in the winter, like with Vermont, as soon as you enter, limited salt use in effect.
right.
On a road like that, it's going to freeze underneath, and I would think it would make it hard.
Well, I've been keeping an eye on it through 132.
Yeah,
And I think for the roads that are like sand roads only,
yeah.
I think it's gonna work out good
Mhm.
because it provides, it's like this, instead of flat. So it provides you know, and I think, according to all their records and everything that you get from it, makes your pavement last another 10 to 15 years before you have to, so the pavement that we have that's in decent shape, we should start a program to keep some of that and work on the stuff that's in real bad shape.
But if that pavement is over a base that hasn't been, I mean, if we've only just put asphalt over a crappy base, what good is the sealant gonna do?
By now though, Mansfield Road's been paved for,
He's talking about roads. You can tell if it's a crappy road.
Yeah,
You get
you
wheel
can-
ruts and
and I've been down them with Bruce, we rode them all, and those were the roads that, and Bruce has been doing this for 30 years. We went down, and he gave me a list also. I showed him some of the roads that I thought of, and then we looked at the other ones, and he was like, these are roads that this would work good on, to prolong having to do anything with these roads, where you can focus on these. So you can, I have a quote from Bruce, and like he said, this is just budget numbers. If you guys decide to do this, we'll mess with the numbers proper to that. But we can do all those roads for,
Then Autumn Drive is already cracking up.
but that's what this is designed to do.
Bonds it back together.
It bonds it and makes it last longer. And if you have a road that's cracked
I
like,
don't think you can beat Mother Nature.
it's a resurfacing. It's
It's-
a different style of
it's just
doing it.
different.
Yeah, but I'm talking of the ground underneath is pushing that road and cracking it and happening on the beginning.
and that's why you
That's
would go
what's
in
beginning.
something like that ahead of time and crack seal all the cracks before you put this over.
But the ground's still gonna move that road.
Only if
Not if the
well,
water doesn't get down in
right.
there anymore.
If you got the water going away from the road bed,
If
you're
you keep the
good.
water off the
You
road,
ditch it.
If it's
Have it
properly
ditch away
ditched,
and
that's
not
the
ditch.
caveat.
and that will be done this summer. It's been, the road's been ditched, the water gets off the road now.
Autumn Drive,
Yeah. You haven't been up there.
I go up there almost every week.
We spent 2 days up there last year ditching the upper half of it. We haven't got to the lower side we haven't done yet.
Okay. Okay.
Right, but what this is gonna do is create a barrier to keep the water out of the road. Which does exactly what you said, when water sinks down into the road, and then it freezes, it shifts. There's no,
So if we have both parts playing, that's fine.
Right.
If we've got the water.
but we don't have to do, like Autumn Drive, I would crack seal that before I chip sealed it, which is an extra probably $2,000 to chip seal that. To crack seal it on top of it, and then chip seal over it, and it will definitely prolong any,
You've got some interesting issues with ditching the lower half because water does flow down.
it usually does, water does run downhill usually.
There's a lot of springs on there.
I
I meant down through the ground.
know. But there's,
I have a hydrology report for that area.
you do.
I do.
If
Very
if there's
interesting.
springs in the road, there's really nothing you can do except take the road up and put under drain in. But now you're talking
I think you'll find out when you start ditching that
Right.
western side of the road.
But even if you do, if that's the case, and we start ditching that, and that ditch doesn't dry up, it's because there's springs in the road. And if there's springs in the road, you're not gonna fix it with anything but digging the road up and putting under drain in. And now you're talking,
And that road was done probably 20 years ago.
right. And my main focus for that was more the sand-only route, but Autumn was it looked to be a good character for that.
All right, so this is something you plan on doing in the summer?
Yes, yeah, that's when I know they were looking for what my plans were for the summertime. I would like to really focus on some of the sidewalks. And I know we have money in there that we haven't used for sidewalks, and I think we should maybe start putting a little more focus into some of the sidewalks and getting them.
Well, you're attempting to do the River Road sidewalks, so I applaud you that.
I'm doing that myself, so
That is,
it's a treat at best.
It's a challenge. Could we at that time put that section in of sidewalk that's missing from Silver Lake Road?
That's part of but I can't tell you for 100% certain that I'm gonna have the money to do all of it this year. I'm doing it in sections that I can.
Well, this is just a section that's missing.
Right, but you don't wanna do, I don't wanna start here and then say, okay, we're gonna stop and then just do this section and then leave this. I'd rather work to it and do a section at a time. I know but we will,
Yeah, I don't even think it's 90 feet.
90 feet it's a long ways when you're spending money on ledge pack and equipment and asphalt.
Right, but I'm just
But I
saying.
mean, yes, it
It's
will.
very particularly, it's much more dangerous on Silver Lake Road than River Road.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah,
If you
absolutely.
watch, young kids will walk up to the store, they're in the street,
Right.
and it.
Well, and to be completely honest with you, if you want to get 100%, that sidewalk isn't, I would dare say it's not a legal sidewalk. It's only, in spots it's this wide, 2 feet wide, and in some spots it's, from Church Street down, and
Oh,
then,
no, I was talking
and then
about-
River,
I'm talking Silver Lake Road.
so down on the bottom, where we already did the sidewalk.
Silver Lake Road was the class 2 road project.
Oh,
Yes.
you're gonna do it now? You
Well,
waited.
No, I found the document that said that was municipal sidewalk. I'm talking from Route 3 down to where the mail, with the,
Oh, the
Smoke
post
Valley.
office?
Smoke Valley, thank
There
you.
is sidewalk there, though.
No, there's a
No.
piece.
Are you talking about the section where that guy's yard goes
Yes.
through?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want me to dig the guy, well, I mean, it is what it is, it's a town's.
It is the town's, it's documentation in the safe that, yes, the town laid out that
And if
site.
that's what,
Unfortunately, it was found after the project.
right.
Yes, but I've talked to them since then. and-
But that sidewalk too, I mean, that's,
He's passed away.
is curb, yeah, right. Is the curb, I mean, we gotta set curb, we gotta do,
Right, but I'm
there's,
just saying, if we're gonna do something, we should complete that because it'll be
Okay.
much safer.
I didn't put that because I didn't think we could, so I didn't even,
That's why I brought it up.
yeah, no,
because
that's, okay, yeah, we were in two different areas, that's what,
That's what I thought.
okay. No, I'm good with that.
Thank you.
We
Hey,
can,
well-
Question for you.
absolutely.
In your travels with your different contractors, are you looking at your list and possibly reprioritizing roads that future years?
Yeah, well, and the thing is that's what I'm kind of trying to do is put, I know what roads need it the worst, and I know what roads we can let.
Right.
So I'm trying to
Yep.
I mean, Highland Ave
That's what we
is
would like.
Oh, that's,
destroyed. It's,
Yeah.
it needs to be completely redone.
Right.
And Linden's the same way. The road goes like
Right.
this.
yeah, and Manville, if you don't do that, it's gonna
Well,
fall
that's why I
apart
said
shortly
we could
'cause
chip
they-
seal Mansville and be
Yep.
fine with that for another 10 years. We
Yep.
don't have to jump right into redoing that. It's just, there's,
What'll get interesting is the effects when you reclaim.
as far as what you're gonna find there?
No, when you're mixing like the rubber and all, and
Right.
does it compact better or worse? Because the straight asphalt and stone, the asphalt below the surface still has the cementing quality, so it actually packs better.
Right, and I think that's why they put the stone down before they cover it.
Yeah.
Just so it's got some sort of a bonding agent.
So that's the only thing.
And they tack it too, I believe they put the tack right
Oh,
to
yeah.
it, so,
Really?
yeah.
Where it gets real fun is if you crack fill. Whether you cold plane or reclaim, you're gonna have big strings.
You're gonna have big strings of rubber. Yeah.
It's nasty.
Wow.
See, you on the white asphalt concrete side don't have to deal with stuff like that.
No, ours is neat and clean and pretty.
Most of the time. I'm not, maybe yours is neat and clean all the time.
I'll send some
So,
pretty
Brock,
Yes,
can you talk to me about the salt shed? So I've heard kind of different versions of what's actually needed on the salt shed. Are we looking for, in the future, a new rebuild of the whole salt shed to make it bigger and more depth to it so that you can load properly because of what's happening? Or are we just gonna fix what was there?
I think, to be completely honest with you, I think it's beyond, you're just beating a dead horse trying to fix it. It's not big enough it doesn't hold the capacity that, especially now for the storms that we've been getting, it's just not, when we had that, this last week we had that 12 inches of snow, and then we had that little bit of a break, and then it rained, and we got all that ice. That barn was full.
Mhm.
And if we would've went another half a day, I wouldn't have had any salt.
I watched you load after they dump it, and then you load it into the shed.
Yep.
So that's why I was kind of curious on why you would want because I thought that fix that we fixed was going to be a certain fix.
All that
but-
fix was a broken beam that was holding the roof up.
Okay.
That's all that was. We just put a new beam in. It wasn't like
So
we,
we got other problems to the shed that we had.
absolutely. The shed just wasn't designed to do what it's been doing.
So is that a project next year that we're going to look to do? Or is that,
Yes, I needed to get some more information on different types of
material and things?
buildings and what we could put there and how large we want to go and what not.
Do you know your footprint yet?
I think 60 by 80 would be,
What a Quonset?
that's what I'm looking into right now. But the tarp ones, the ones that are tarp, they're nice.
Yeah, but
They
the
are,
problem with
but a
tarp
good
is when the
gust of
tarp
wind-
goes, you're paying almost the same full price.
A tree branch falls and cuts
Yeah.
that, you're out.
You're out
Yeah.
almost
The whole time.
right.
Yeah,
So
that's-
what I've been looking at is I went over to, I had a training course in the town of Wakefield. And they have concrete up
Yep.
8 feet,
Yep.
and then they have the steel Quonset hut
Mhm.
that sits on top of it. You can back right inside there and dump one of those trailer dumps inside there and leave it. And it's the same setup that I would like to
So
do.
what do they have for a covering?
It's steel,
Metal.
it's
It's
metal.
like a culvert.
Yeah, it looks like a
An
big
oversized-
giant
yeah.
culvert.
Is that what DOT has at Mulmer?
It could be, yeah. I was gonna take a ride over there and take some pictures and get some stuff together,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I had,
Okay.
and I talked to him and he's like, yeah, come on over and take some pictures. But it's a good setup and according to him, it was relatively inexpensive to do. It was,
Poured concrete for the first one.
they use blocks and he recommended that if you do it, pour concrete. He said, because the blocks are working, but one cowboy with the loader pushes a block over and you're building.
How do you anchor the roof to it?
Right. Well,
Did
that's.
they drill through all the blocks?
They put pins.
Okay.
It was,
Yeah, it's easier to pin the foundation.
right, it really is.
Okay,
So
so
would you take the existing building down, or is there a use for it and we should put a new building up somewhere else?
Well, I was looking at that, and where I've cleared out back, I don't know if all of you have seen it, but I viewed a lot of the land that was out there, we weren't using for anything. It was just dead
Right.
sitting there. So over the course of the summer, we had cut a pretty good section back there, and I filled it in and loamed it in and graveled it in. So right now it's housing our Connex boxes and whatnot, and the trailers all sit on it. And then we've still got the upper part that we've made a lot bigger. So I've been looking at it, and maybe, because you still have to be able to have a tractor trailer back in there and dump. So where our salt shed is in the area facing, if we went into that bank just beyond that and went diagonal in, your road's still there to get up back, and you've got plenty of room to put in, and I can do the dirt work myself. It's not like we have to hire anybody to do that. I mean, we have to hire somebody to do the concrete, but as far as the dirt work and the backfilling and all that stuff, we can do that ourselves. And I gotta get some prices on what the actual building is gonna cost. And
Can we start on that now so that we can
I'm
figure
starting-
out on what we can do next year?
I am, but I don't wanna come to you with a half of
No,
the
I agree.
information.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
It's,
I was just getting mixed conversations,
Right.
and I just wanted to hear it from you.
Yeah,
What I
it's-
kind of thought that's was the direction you were going to go in, because I did visually see you try to. You had to dump it in the front and then
Right.
scoop it up with the loader.
well,
and,
in that, Pat,
push it
the
back.
reason for that was the night we went out plowing? Was that?
I was
or the-
filling up a sand
Because-
bucket one day.
Because the reason for that is because the sand was frozen.
Mm.
There was big chunks, so I had to backtrack the sand to break it up and then put it back into the pile. That wasn't because,
Okay.
it was because we have great big huge frozen chunks because the face of the sand is so close to the
Outside.
outside that it freezes up, the raw sand freezes up.
If you left the existing building, would you have use for it?
Cold storage, but I wouldn't put anything in there that was worth anything in case it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't
Old
make it.
batteries and things like that.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, we could put
Recycle.
signs and stuff in there and stuff that, if it did fall, it's not gonna hurt anything. We could put purple bags in there, ooh, that would be great.
Those are worth a lot.
And the building is only 20 years old. Well, not even that, it's 18 years
Yeah,
old.
but you've seen it.
I've seen it, I mean, there are some issues with it, but I think basically structurally, the main part of it is pretty sound.
Those issues can be fixed,
But, you know,
can they?
well, the beams, yeah, we've
Yeah.
already replaced the beam.
Yeah, you replaced the beam, but when it was built, the beam, when you run your carrier beams down the sides, they're supposed to be in the center of the beam,
Yeah.
not with a half an inch hanging off the side of the beam.
I know.
We were close.
It was, well, you were within 6 inches, which is,
We was before, the year before I.
in horseshoes, that's great.
Yeah.
I remember that getting built.
All right,
And half of it could be from settling and not,
okay. But either way,
Either way, it needs-
whether you keep it or not, you'll have a complete
right.
later
Yes.
on in the year.
Yes, I
Okay,
will.
let's look
Like
at
I
this.
said, I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna get some pictures of that. I got some pictures of some bigger ones, like those cover-it ones are nice, but one person with a bad grudge and a jackknife can ruin it, you know, and wreck the whole thing, and it's not really, is it worth spending $100,000 on a top garage that somebody can
Oh,
just
no,
wreck with a
no
stick?
top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not,
Right.
Well, the other thing is, you heavy wet snow.
yeah, it's not gonna
Windows.
take the wind, it's
Yeah,
not, the
that-
snow
that's-
load
That's
isn't.
why you go Quonset, the corrugation.
And then you
and
can,
round.
and the only way that's gonna cave in is if you don't keep the snow away from the edges of it when it slides off, so
Right.
it's,
All right, nice report. Save the money.
Yes, your reports are getting better and better and better. It's really a nice report. Very nice, well written.
I'm glad to see we're going to finish the sidewalk by the river.
Mhm.
Oh, no, it's not here.
that's already, that wasn't even, it doesn't need a plan, that's gonna get done.
Yeah, that's
My
good.
big thing would be the one up, that goes up to the veterans home, but I'm
Yeah,
Yeah, we
not gonna
can't.
go do it and then have the state come through and rip it up.
They are
Priority.
going to do it. They
Oh, I-
are going to pave this year, they said.
Yes, but if they start paving in December like they did last year, I'm not gonna put a sidewalk in.
they've got to fix
We'll
that.
figure it
No,
out.
no, no, that was Water District, not
The
state.
22nd, is
Throw it back.
when we can ask District 3, I hope they're gonna be, but they, the plan is supposedly they're gonna do a couple more culverts up there first and then do paving. The culvert way up by the driveway of the Veterans Home, when
Yeah,
it
that'd
goes
be a
over
good
to
idea.
Bob Hardy. Because that's the one that's destroying our sidewalk.
Well, the drainage in general is destroying,
It's wicked
it's-
Where are we with the sinkhole?
which one?
The
District.
states?
Pick
Are
me
you
up.
talking the states sinkhole?
The cones over there by Deer Street.
Catherine, I don't know how you guys want me to handle that, because the town says it's not theirs, the state says it's not theirs, so my hands are tied. What do you want me to do?
Catherine, have your plans available for?
I got it.
Yeah, just, I mean,
Yeah.
but before somebody gets hurt, I was gonna go dump a load of stone in there,
I got it.
because it would leach through before somebody falls in it, and then but nobody wants to take responsibility for it, so.
I think Peter's suggestion is right on target. We should have the plans here next week,
Yep.
Catherine, and then when we got one
That's a
more
good
thing.
idea.
We have one more thing to talk to you about, Joe.
That's a good idea.
Blueprint's right there.
Yeah, and the deputy commissioner is going to be here, so we've got it. We've been arguing with Districts 3.
Oh, I know, I got all the paperwork right here.
I gave him copies of
Yeah,
it.
I have it.
So, I mean, I think that's spot
Give me my
on.
file, I didn't give you copies.
No, I got,
I gave him copies, right?
That Taylorville Road project, yeah, I got everything, even letters from the state that I've asked questions about and whatnot to see what was gonna go on, just so I had some sort of idea what.
Their reasoning for it to be theirs is incorrect, because they're claiming the culvert was put in with the apartment building. And clearly, the blueprint shows the culvert was there long before.
I've seen it. I
The
saw it,
apartment
and I saw
building was
it,
But that was the last argument that was made.
right. The thing is you're gonna, to get the state to agree to anything, you're gonna have to have more than a schema,
A state
map from-
blueprint?
Yeah, yeah, but it's from 1931, they're gonna say, well, that's not what that was.
Well, you can go through them, the culvert is
Right.
there. The reason I took that one is because their last claim.
I saw it, yeah, and it.
Their last
clearly
claim
the culvert.
was the culvert went in when the building went in, which
Right.
is
The
incorrect.
culvert was there in 1931.
That's right. That's why that blueprint.
I saw
But
it.
all the prints
I saw, yeah, no.
carrying through, including our septic print, shows the culvert. All
Pretty
right.
good building for being that old.
I guess so. I guess so.
All right, well, thank you. Anybody have any more questions for Brock?
The new truck, did you say it was in?
No, it's not. I called on it yesterday. No, and to be quite honest with you, if I don't have to do business with Fairfields again, I'm not gonna after this. Because I was told before I went on vacation that it would be done in the middle of February. And when I called, well, I've been calling them all week, and finally somebody else, I think when the phone got answered, it was by accident.
Oops.
And I was like, hey, what's going on with this truck? You guys had this truck. You've had the chassis since October 15th. The chassis has been at Fairfield since October 15th. And he's like, oh boy, I don't know, we're just getting ready to, it's not in there yet, it's still sitting up there.
Hmm.
And,
This was today?
yesterday, I talked to him. So now he's saying March, now he's saying 1st of March.
Wow.
I mean, at this point, I guess we've been doing without it.
So at this
This long.
point, we're coming to the tail end. Is it time to go somewhere else?
We really can't.
Why can't we?
We've already ordered it.
We've already ordered everything.
So,
I tried to get him to bring it to the shop. I'll have Kevin put it in.
I was gonna say,
And Kevin would have had it already
have we
done.
paid for what we ordered?
Yeah, I think we have. Because you have to, before they order it, you have to give them a purchase and sales agreement to say that you will take it. And at this point, we go to Donovan, we're gonna wait just as long now, because everybody's buying trucks now. It's budget time.
No, they won't buy until after.
Well, but there's still, and I don't know as though Donovan's gonna be, I don't know if they're gonna be any better. And they're really the only two games in town unless you drive to Burlington, Vermont.
Okay.
That's a nice trip, I'll go.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm gonna
But
put
you're
out-
not, yeah, but
We
you're
got
gonna,
relatives up there.
yeah, but you're gonna be up there for a couple weeks. It's not just. go
That's
there and
fine, we
sit.
got relatives up there, right on the lake. Come on, ice fishing, everything, come
I
on.
just, at this point,
Who
it's
did we get the truck from?
the pony.
Pony? And the Pony sells those chassis, and they must recommend where to go to get the stuff.
They all go to Fairfields and they're just as,
You know, go to Verponi and say, hey, you know, we got this truck from you, recommend bringing there, and you got any pull?
right.
Because if not, we're not gonna buy our trucks from you, we're gonna go somewhere, we'll go to Vermont and buy our trucks.
Right.
And have them delivered
Well, the
here.
thing with that, John, is,
Have them
the
step
thing
up
with
for
that
us.
is, if you drive down to Fairfields, Franklin's got 3 trucks sitting there waiting to be built. Northfield's truck had been there for just as long, and theirs just got done at the beginning of the winter, but they ordered it back in February of last year or whatever, and got their truck. So, I mean, it's not, I think they may have took on a lot of work, and they're just trying to
Too
Well, but
cheap,
it
too
just-
cheap to hire
to
the help
hire
they
the
need?
right people to do it, or the
Caliber you need.
caliber of people you need to get
And we
it
didn't
done.
have a delivery date in our purchase and sales agreement with them?
No, because you can, they can give you a delivery date, but it doesn't mean that stuff, I really don't even know how to answer you with that, because I'm so discouraged with the whole, and it sucks that there's only 2 games in town.
Well, all right, well, at least we made it through the season.
Oh, yeah, no, we're getting through, I
We'll
just,
know better than to do business with them again.
right, and I have a hard time even buying plow blades from them anymore,
Find
the
it.
only reason I did the other day is because they're the only game in town with fishing now, except for Alt Motorsports, who seems to be a lot cheaper.
Donovan's got fish stuff, very good.
Donovan might have, I think Donovan is the same as MD Tractor, isn't it? Isn't Donovan Boss?
No, fish.
Is there? Well, if they got Fisher, then we can, but then you're driving another hour out of your way to go get a plow blade. So you kinda, hands are kinda, do you wanna drive an hour past the place that's got what you need? Or do you wanna,
Isn't
If they held
Donovan
on
in
to my truck for
Manchester?
6 months,
it's,
I drive another hour to avoid.
yeah, but if they got the plow blade, I see what you, I know what you're
Where's
saying.
Fairfield?
Yeah.
I mean, if I drive an hour from here, I'm in Boston.
They're in Londonderry. Donovan's is in Londonderry.
Yeah.
So are you driving CDL, or are you driving your Secret
Lamborghini.
Service vehicle?
Secrets.
What a great
Big
business
black
opportunity
SUVs.
for somebody to open up a business doing this stuff, because you could easily,
All right, any more questions?
An expediter, that would be a great business.
Thank you, Brian.
put my job in,
Sounds like you
find people.
asked him twice.
Okay, I'm done then.
Good night.
Thank you,
Thanks
appreciate
again.
it.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Big meltdown.
See you next week.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think so.
you get the car inspected.
As soon as Kevin gets back, I'll
All right.
have him get on it. I don't think that car's an issue, so. Thank you.
There's that
Okay.
blue one.
Yeah, nice to use it, but it wasn't out there today. It didn't make sense to me to drive my car further to get it than I needed to drive it. It took me from Island Street to go get it. So I just,
Good thing you didn't. At least with the stuff.
that would be fun.
Tow it and pound it.
Yeah.
To the public works
Yeah.
department.
Joyce, are you ready for us?
Yeah, you want to do the non-public? Keno,
I have one thing in public for the police department.
Okay.
If- Wherever you want to put it, could
We'll
be
have to
under
do
my
it now
stuff.
while we're waiting for Joyce.
I'm
Was the
sorry?
chief coming in tonight?
Yep. Yes, he is coming in.
Okay.
I
I didn't see him on the agenda, so.
Brian asked me to bring this up because they were approved for the grant for the stalker radar in the EPMG grant. They were approved for it. It covers 50%. The total cost of the radar that they want is by stalker. It's $2,212.50. So they would need, we would need to approve them to go ahead and purchase this radar and it would cost out of pocket $1,106.25, which they budgeted for. They just had a custom signals radar go bad last week, so they would like to order it right away so that they can have it in the event we get the new cruiser and have it installed. Takes a while.
So they want us to order a piece of equipment for the new cruiser that we haven't approved yet.
But they may be able to use it in this other one that just went bad. We don't have radar in it at all.
May be able to, but we don't know if they can.
I didn't talk to Tim. I did not have a talk.
Is that a
chance to
mechanic question?
No, it would be a compatibility,
So this is technology.
right, yeah. But it's been,
So
it's
can this
been,
wait until next week so
Hours.
we have some answers?
I would really like to order it at ASAP.
So,
I don't want to have a product that we can't use.
right now,
I'm
Ryan
not gonna use
called
it.
you. Did
No,
you
I
say-
was up there,
Oh, you were up there.
I was up there.
But does the
Okay.
chief even know about this?
Oh, yeah, he put in for the EPMG grant.
Oh, for this?
This was all included in the grant with the generator and the radar and the desk, all of that.
That one.
Yeah, it was all part of the equipment, but he wants to order the equipment.
Before
Would
we
you-
approve the car.
Well, this also works with,
Maybe.
I can't answer definitively that it does. I believe it does, but I'm not gonna be on my back for saying 100% it
what's
does.
the cost?
$1,106
$0.25.
and 50 cents. Oh, I'm sorry, 25. That's our part, which they've budgeted for.
Now, are these upfitters as fast and speedy as,
And that's why they want to order it now. It's going to take a while to get to us.
No, another week now. Not much.
Sure, it was pretty important for him to ask me to bring it up tonight, so I just don't want to see it go out. They've already put in for it, they've already budgeted for it, they've already been approved. We signed it to go out to be approved.
We signed the grant.
Right.
They've gotten the grant.
And it's gotten
We haven't
approved.
approved the car that it was supposed to go into. And it may fit in the car we already have. What do you want to do, board?
I see, I know, I see, get it.
When are they going to present the stuff for the car?
Tonight.
Tonight? Can we do it right after that?
Mhm.
If we're all set with the car, and then we can vote on the radar. And then we'll have something, just in case the car doesn't, put it on the shelf at the booth.
Just texted him to ask him where he is, because he's supposed to be on the agenda for 5:40.
My understanding was that they weren't going to pitch the car tonight because I asked earlier.
Oh, really?
But we'll see. If he's prepared. They're supposed to have a report from the mechanic.
Isn't Tim supposed to be part of that?
Pardon?
Isn't Tim supposed to be part of that? Originally, you said he was fine.
He's the finance end of it,
Right.
so we'll see. Joyce?
Ah, Ryan, we're asking about the radar.
Okay.
So I said, and I couldn't answer this question, that it could go into the one that just broke down. I said maybe, and Catherine said maybe. We need to know whether it could or it couldn't.
Yeah, we can put it in whatever car we want to. But I would like to get a new radar, so we can put it in a new cruiser if we get a new car, so we already have it, so it can be installed.
So my other comment was, we're going to approve radar for a car that we haven't approved yet.
If we wait on some car, and then you approve the car, you still gotta get the radar. If the car comes in before the radar, you don't wait on the radar, so,
Our understanding is you had a radar break in another car.
yes,
Is that a car that is intended to be replaced or retained?
retain,
Okay, so if we did order this radar,
yes.
and for some reason a new car wasn't purchased, we would have a use for the radar.
Oh, yes. I mean,
That was the ultimate question.
right, and the reason I keep putting in for these radar grants is because we are having radars develop problems. They're missing buttons on some of the control heads, they need repairs, and this one broke last week, so.
Hey, I'm delighted to save 50%.
do we have any lasers or are we all radar?
We have one laser. The grant included enough money to buy a second laser. But I don't want to put that before town meeting, so.
just have to
Just
paper
drop
Joyce.
something, Joyce.
What's the card?
Do you want to continue with Joyce?
Chief?
Mine's bigger. Wasn't sure if it was going to be a long meeting or not.
Looks like the cider I had from Vermont that turned. They don't put any preservatives in their cider.
So you let it go hard?
I did. And then it became vinegar. So I used it on my salad.
Told me 5:40, and that's him.
Is this gonna be non-public?
It's Nate Buffy.
Is it gonna be non-public?
Is this, what, I don't have you on my agenda.
Yes, that's the non-public PD personnel.
5:40?
I got non-public avatar settlement.
No, number 3.
Oh, there it is, PD personnel. So that's non-public.
All right, then you guys can stay.
Oh, well, you're here, so make a motion, we go into non-public for RSA 91A:3 personnel.
Second.
I made you forms.
Fogg, yes.
They give it to Gail, yeah.
Scanlon, yes.
Constantino, yes.
Dawson, yes.
I'm just trying to expedite.
Thank you.
We are red, red is on.
All right. So,
Seal,
the,
seal. Seal minutes.
oh, thank you. Make a motion to seal the minutes in non-public session as it pertains to employee compensation and hiring permanently.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We just came out of non-public to discuss the radar.
Mhm.
So, the question that we had was, are we going to order this radar and just have a radar that isn't going to fit in an old car? Because we haven't ordered a new car yet.
It is going to fit in an old car.
And you said, confirm that it would fit, and you know this unequivocally, that it's compatible with an old car that just recently had a radar failure?
Correct.
All right, so we wouldn't be ordering it for nothing. And you did get the grant, and it'll pay for 50%?
50%.
Correct.
Okay. Board, do you want to vote on the radar tonight?
Yes, I make a motion that we allow them to order the Stalker radar, $2,212.50, and our input on it would be $1,106.25, which is budgeted for.
Second.
Discussion. Ashley, anything? Everybody's good? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Order your radar.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looks easy.
Good night.
Night.
Night, Cap.
Thank you, Captain.
Make a motion, we go into non-public.
Well, do we need to go into non-public in the beginning, or? Oh, we can get the non-publics out of the way. You'd like to get them out of the way, okay. And these are for
Settlement on MC&G. And then I have an abatement that she's recommending on the property he owns there on Prospect
So
Street.
this is consideration and negotiation of pending claims of litigation. This is an ongoing litigation we got.
Well, discussing tax appeals, settlement agreements. And then the other two from Cindy, we can do when we come out. We all set?
So the motion is to go into non-public
We're all set to go?
as per RSA 91A:3, E, consideration of negotiating a pending claims of litigation which has been certain in writing or filed against body or agency and subdivision thereof.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Bug, yes.
Constantino, yes.
Dawson, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
We are red, red is on.
Any supplemental warrants, I had to check them,
Yeah.
I had to enter them into my system.
I should have remembered that you carry the abatements.
And I said, Cindy, I'll make sure they sign them, and they'll be on your desk in the morning.
Pass them down.
Oh,
Do we have to seal them? Yeah.
Make a motion to seal the minutes of non-public as they pertain to legal until the matters are resolved, and personnel permanently.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
okay, and there's 2 pages to each you have to sign. So the page underneath you have to sign as well.
OMG. One I have to put my middle initial and one I don't. Boy, this is getting complicated. What will I do?
Okay,
Does it negate it if I don't put
the
my
next
middle
thing, this
initial?
is the final warrant.
Do it right, because I'm gonna follow you.
I like the way you say that definitively.
Well, there's just one thing, and you can change it. But what I did is I ended up putting the Article 15 is the one on the island ownership,
Okay.
if that's all right. Because
Most
it's
of
just,
the people are gone.
yeah, but it's just advisory. I mean,
It's a warrant article. You're telling me it has no bearing?
well, what you're asking
You're asking
is
if they have an interest.
if they have an interest.
But one article
I
has
guess
to
you're-
come in last, Catherine.
I guess you're right, Joyce. There really isn't any. It just tells us whether or not we should bother. Okay.
Like a referendum.
And I
Let's
did,
get a discount.
Donna Rhodes was in, and I just briefly went over everything with her in the on the warrant articles, and so she'll probably have something in next week. She's also doing the article on the candidates night too, right?
And you got the budget committee, so.
I don't know if she's gonna do an article, she wanted the information.
Sorry?
I just gave her the information, she didn't say anything about doing an article.
Oh, doing an article.
Congratulations.
So if you don't object to making that one 15.
Anybody care?
Huh?
Anybody care about warrant article 15's location?
Well, one has to end up last.
That's right.
I think it's gonna be a quick town meeting myself.
No.
So which one are you putting last?
The island.
Island.
And there's two originals. I like to keep an original for the selectmen, and I give an original to the town clerk. So on the last page, just sign the first block.
Top of the page only?
Yeah, because I don't know when they're gonna go be posted, because I don't know when the 737 is gonna be done.
As long as they're posted by the last day. That's what they're supposed to be.
Before we get into town report, can I talk about Taylor Hill Road?
Of course.
Yeah. I have the labels all set. I have a copy of the letter. And on the back of the letter, I was going
Wait
to,
a minute, you can't do this. I'm not vice chair.
I'll just sign it.
I'm sorry.
It's not legal.
What do we got?
This is the town warrant, this was what goes in the annual report.
Oh, I was thinking of the same thing on
Oh,
that.
what?
I thought they just switched us.
This one too?
Well, but we have
It's
we
just-
have that ruling from local government center.
Yeah, it said it was fine.
They didn't say it was fine.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't. They said you can't have 2 chairs.
It depends on who, it's fine to do it, but you have to decide on who's gonna
So this one
run the meeting and stuff,
this one.
No,
which was you.
I don't really care. I mean, I'm not that anal about it, but they did say you can't have 2 chairs.
No.
Labeling is fine with me. Anybody care
I do.
Like,
whether it says vice chair, co-chair?
just, that's what we voted on, and we never changed that vote.
Right.
That was the vote of record, so.
I don't think we voted on it.
Oh, we
Yeah,
did?
we, oh, yeah, we did.
No,
This
I
was
don't
just
think
the
we voted on
template.
First-
This
No, I
was
don't
the
think we
first
voted
thing.
on the
I can
co-chair,
change
but
it.
that's okay.
Didn't
It's
you
fine.
vote for it?
I voted against it because I didn't know what the heck.
Did we vote on it? I mean, like I said, I can go either way, they're just labels to me. I just want to make sure the board is aware. Did everybody read the legal opinion from the local government center?
Yeah.
I don't, anybody ever get that?
It was sent out to us,
Couldn't see
A
when I
year
sent
ago.
that out.
well,
Have it.
June or so.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. If no one, if everybody's okay with that, that's fine.
So I'll change it before we leave, so don't leave until
Oh, you want us to sign that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna have quite a crowd coming, I've been telling people,
Good.
but I haven't mailed out the letter yet. I just have to get them in the envelopes. It's the we just got this Monday.
I know, but
I know,
You know,
and I
meetings in a
tried,
week.
and setting up all the people to come.
can they go out in the morning?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But
They
on the
should have
back,
them by-
I'm trying to do, on the back side of the letter is the announcement, please come to the meeting on the 22nd. I had a nice conversation with Senator Gaida. Is it Gaida? He's the one that replaced Jeannie Forrester, and he.
Nobody will replace Jeannie Forrester. He's the one who has that
Taking the
position
Yeah,
currently.
yeah. And
Just want to make that clear.
so, so he called immediately and said he was gonna talk to his people to find out exactly what happened. He said when the budget, when all that work is done at the end of the budget year in June, they're no longer looking at the little line item details, because they're just passing the final budget bill.
They don't care who it hurts.
Pardon me?
They don't care who it hurts.
Right. So he said he had to go look and see, because he was similar to what Tim had said, no, we're sure we put money in there for that. But what I was able to do is that DOT didn't tell us that this was going on, because we had no opportunity to respond. I remember when we were trying to get the money from the money that John Lynch took away for our solid waste, cleaning up the solid waste.
Oh.
And New Hampshire Municipal Association led that, so all the towns that we needed, plus it was other drinking water projects that had gotten yanked at the last minute. And they sent us regular notices of when changes were being made to the budget like that, so we could see, oh yeah, hearings on this date, that date, and
So
you
you
go.
go. We finally got our landfill closure money.
And the thing that this is why we don't trust the state. We could be sitting here looking at a bunch of plans right now that were absolutely useless.
Yeah, and
Paying
paid for them.
Paying 20% for them.
Yeah. I hope they don't sit there next week and say that. Oh, we didn't notice.
But anyway, so both Tim
You
and,
may have to take
was
over.
there- and I did invite the other reps, and Joe Kenny had a nice conversation with him. He's looking into it too, because they sign all those contracts. I said, remember when we had to take our special request to governor and council, and you guys approved it because Caleb Hill Road really needs to be done, and if this is a successful project, maybe this can go on, and, we'll look at Winter Street, but it's a different commissioner. And we had it back then.
Why don't we just invite them to take a ride on the road?
We should, I will send them.
Yeah.
I have just the
Yeah.
vehicle.
Maybe we could have the police department detour all the roads that to get to town hall, you have to go down Caleb Hill.
Take a school bus.
And winter.
Yeah, winter.
I'm gonna tell you, it's quite interesting.
Detour all the roads.
You could go this way, Cedar, up by the stop sign, it's getting
Yeah,
real.
so no, these will go out tomorrow. And also, I sent them copies of our agreement,
Can we,
copies of the notes from our meeting.
we get a
Met with
video,
them.
excuse me, for a second, can we get a video or some type, I don't know if there's a car camera or something like that we could play on the screen and project onto here of pictures of what we're dealing with, and have that in the background when we're talking about this?
I have a car camera.
Do your cruisers,
You got car cameras, right?
your cruisers capable of taking a picture of that road if they drive slow?
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
better yet,
Well,
drive
that-
fast. You want to
that's
see the
the
camera
problem.
doing this.
Well, I'm thinking they should go up it. There's some specific areas where the water just flows over the road and forms ice. We get that section up on the far corner, etc. So they might want to get those in, and then when they come back, they can go.
Yeah,
I think
Maybe even a
be
bus
sure to take them
picture,
up Winter
because-
Street first.
I think I'll have some video in the car, but also some video from the sidewalk of cars driving on it to see the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
I'd
what I
love to
mean?
have that
Yeah.
playing silently
Yes.
or something in the background.
And then
then
follow
splice.
me in the bus
Oh.
on Winter Street some morning.
Yeah.
Seriously, the
Put a
bus
40-pound
goes
kid in
like
the
this.
Yeah,
backseat
oh,
of the
yeah.
bus.
And
Dead
that,
in the
Is
ceiling.
next week they're coming?
and video it.
Next Thursday.
It's terrible.
Can you get that done before
I will,
Monday?
and I'll be happy.
That way you can preview it and make sure Tim gets it and we can.
Absolutely.
8:20 to
Did we
8:25, I
send out
pass
those
through Cedar
letters
Street.
to
I'm on it.
everybody on the road?
She's doing that in the morning.
Yeah.
Some hubcaps out there along the side too.
I'm sorry?
To Winter Street too.
You want me to send them to Winter Street also?
I think the more people we have,
I have no objection to who you send them to, as long as you canvass
Definitely get to
Caleb Hill.
Yep.
And Donna's
Does
gonna write
anybody
something
object
about
to
it.
sending him out to Winter?
Who is that?
The letter to notify him of this meeting next week.
Oh, absolutely, the more the better.
yeah.
Fill the hall. If we've got to move to another venue, we can move to another
Peter, any
venue.
objection? Send him out. Okay. Thank you, Ashley.
If we have to move to the high school, we'll get the high school. That's it.
We'll go up Caleb Field.
Yeah, we'll
get
take
there.
the back way.
We'll go with the,
And Joe
we'll
Kenny.
go to the veterans.
Tim Lyon.
I didn't think
No
about
virus.
being over capacity.
Shut down.
Ruh-roh.
DOT commissioner. They-
We have
they-
room for another row of chairs up here.
What's the capacity?
Take that out.
It was 75.
Take that out and then put some more in there. Put that thing on. Take that.
Okay. We'd already sent out our cues.
74.
74?
Excluding employees. So that doesn't count all of us.
Oh, we don't take up space?
We're not. It said excluding, oops,
Well, I understand, but
Yeah.
isn't occupancy based on square footage
I guess.
Joyce,
per
what time
person?
is
So
it?
how do you exempt people and say,
I have a hard
'Cause they
time
don't count.
hearing.
There's a
when
fire
more
there.
bring in
than
74 and then all the town employees and we're legal in this?
30.
I think when that went up, there was just Johanna and I up here.
Okay.
And that's for next Thursday.
But that's how I read
Next
it.
Thursday.
That's why I said.
Beginning at 4:30.
We'll be ready.
So can we get Public Works to fill in chairs there and maybe put another row up here, just in case? Do you think we should be
I'm telling
proactive?
all my neighbors to be there.
Yeah. Because we can pull this up a little bit.
It's kind of, I mean, 4:30 isn't the best time.
Right. We'll make do. What else
Can't
we
do it,
got,
write
Joyce?
letters.
Moving right along.
Anyway, this was my thought for the town report. Because I had talked with Tim and I told him that I wanted to pull the whole thing together. I mean, he's gonna help with the, getting it in the electronic format. And so I've been working with each of the departments. And what I'd like to do is, and this is just a draft of ideas, you guys can do whatever you want, I'll be happy to. That's why I'm taking it any further than this stage. That one of the things, you probably noticed me going around taking pictures of all the committee members
Thank
and
you.
everything
Right.
to, because it'd be nice to dedicate our town report to our people that serve, our elected officials and our appointed officials that serve, volunteers that serve the town. So the intent was to write a nice thing about all the people that are elected and appointed, just little drafts, and then have their pictures, so people know who the people are that are serving the town.
I think it's a great format, Joyce.
And then these are just things I thought I could highlight for you. I mean, you will I'll throw stuff down on paper and you guys review it, and, cause it's gotta be in your voice, and it's things that you wanna say, but then, so explaining what that is, and then you know, we welcome Ashley to the board, and I have some ideas to say on what you contribute to the board, which I'm sure the rest of the board would agree. And then, if you don't mind, just put in a little blurb that I gave you my notice to retire. If you're okay with that, I'm good with that.
I think it's great.
And then go into discussion about the list of projects and successes during 2017. And I listed, you know, a number of things, and not in any particular order, but if you could help me figure out what you want to emphasize. And then Tim's going to give me some information on like the grant, all the grant equipment that he got for the police department, and then the equipment purchases. I don't know if Brock has it in his or not. I'm going to try and pick up on those areas that aren't already covered in regular department reports. And then go into just highlighting some of the things in the 2018 warrant that we want people to pay attention to. And I didn't know if you wanted me to mention anything more about sidewalks. Did Brock, I haven't even read Brock's report. Did he put that in his report at all?
Yeah, Main Street sidewalks
He did?
up to
Okay,
the
so we don't need
school,
that.
from Winter Street to the high school. He didn't put the one by the river, but it's gonna get done, he said, so.
And then, you know,
Good
go
report.
into thanking our employees for their service. And one of the new things I'd like to insert is throughout the year, you have people leave and then new people come on. And you don't see that when you list the people serving Tilton. So you have people leave that've been here for a long time that are good people.
Good point.
So that way you're documenting for the record, yeah, you know, who we lost, who left in 2017. It's not that many, and then new people like Sheena came on, and then really stress that we want to encourage people to get involved in their local government. And then, I'm sorry.
Projects.
Yeah.
We did some work outside Town Hall to beautify some plantings. Did we put trees somewhere else? Did we put trees
When did we
further
paint
down?
Town Hall?
2017. Painted the exterior.
Some brickwork and restoration to bricks, sidewalks, and tree.
Yeah,
We repointed some of it.
planted that tree.
And planted a tree. And replanted some trees.
We planted some other trees, didn't we?
I don't think
Just
so.
the ones that
Oh,
were removed.
what about in Salmon Run?
Salmon Run, we put the beautiful,
Salmon
Yeah,
Run.
Salmon Run has a tree. I should have remembered.
and it's a,
I looked it up, I don't have it in here.
just, that's one of
It's a very cool
my-
tree.
Yeah. It's very,
Okay, and then the next part is what's gonna be kind of dispersed throughout the whole rest of the annual report, because we have a lot of white space in the report, and if we can configure things properly, we can get lots of black and white pictures. So this, I went through and I started, just as I was thinking of things, I would write down, and I just listed, again, not in any order of importance, or I didn't rank them or anything, but just some little information about it, because we don't have anything to hand out to people when they come to Tilton. So it'd be nice to at least have like a little promo piece in our
Mhm.
annual report that we can print out ourselves
Separately?
separately. And it just, you know, highlight what a great place it is to live here. And, oh, for the photo, I should have emailed it to you. This is the one I'm recommending, because I want to write a little bit more about it.
You mean the cover?
The cover. Because I want to talk a lot about the island and how, and tie that into all the other features that our town is, I mean, Tilton really is unique, and I know that like with the planning board and with the land use office, they really want to revitalize our downtown and get things going again. And that was one of the things I had hoped to do while I was here. I mean, this isn't a good thing, I'll get a better thing of it. And I have permission from the person to
Oh, that's a nice picture of the Christmas lights on the island.
Christmas lights. I mean,
Was
we
that
have
this year or last year?
It's this year.
It's this year's?
Is there tree lights on the tree or just lights on the gazebo?
I think the lights out room for lanterns over there.
Only-
John said.
Only you. That's pretty funny, John. That's a
No,
nice
that's
pic-
beautiful.
a nice picture. I like the
Color
way-
on
Well,
the
it's just
front?
kind of like you got the sun coming up
Did
in the
you
back
Put it
and
down so
the
they can
foots
see
of
it.
people. Oh, I'm sorry. And I also have, Kathy Mitchell is providing photographs.
She's a great photographer.
Great, and is it the right way?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cool?
It's a
You go-
Christmas card.
It's Hallmark, it's still Hallmark. It's good. Korean
And
eyes
Eric
written all
Hyra,
over it.
he has
Yep.
some wonderful
The couriers,
pictures. And I've been going around snapping pictures, and Cindy's given me things from her folder. I just think it would just, it's honoring Tilton.
This is one of,
And you're supposed to give me pictures. And the
No,
chief,
it's a good one.
timetable,
oh yeah, I think that's another one of his, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
the guy that,
Mark
Mark,
Perkins. Yeah,
which he said you could use.
yeah,
He has some really nice ones.
oh, beautiful.
And
The one with the steam on the river.
oh, here's the other one.
That's a good one.
Let me see which one's that. Is that the steam? Oh, no, that's a real nice one.
And this steam on the river.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
on the
good one
water.
too, because that's one of the ones I want.
Yeah, we got our Smoky River.
That,
Well, good, well, then I can,
Not feel that.
That's a Northfield picture.
but I want to show you the one with the blue though.
out to Silver Lake.
All right, so this is great. You're gonna have a format for us week or so?
No, it will be, next Thursday.
I like
Or
it.
when we, if we can get this,
We have, the deadline is the 23rd of the
yeah, so it has to be the 22nd, so we've got to get everything to them, make the edits, and then they can give us the
So,
final go.
We're gonna have coffee and donuts next week?
Where?
Can you, those?
For what? No, I can have.
And do you have any, you were gonna get me some of the seniors?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that Cindy got for
I'm
me.
gonna have to bring lots of
That's beautiful.
chocolate, because I'm not gonna
For the
stay
DOT
awake.
people, you mean?
That's gonna be an
Or
unbelievable
you mean just in
meeting.
general?
You want all of these that I have?
Yeah,
I can bring my own. A couple.
so do you have any of the seniors, especially from Wednesday night?
Because they
Well,
asked
the
me,
chief will.
Or,
take
or
care of it.
some
gonna
people
ask them?
eating their
and not
senior
something.
meals that they would
Yeah,
want to give
Roma.
in their picture.
Okay, you got my
They were
text about
supposed to
that?
send them to you.
They're looking to help out with.
All right,
getting
let's
those
move
going.
along.
You have to have
So
them.
maybe we can do candidates night.
Joyce, I think
Oh,
that's
we
great.
have to do that.
Preferably
So
this,
let's do candidates
Monday.
night for them.
so we
Well,
could get it
can
all
you ask them for
assembled,
both, or do you want me to?
Right.
get everything written.
All right, next.
You want me to, or you
I
can?
don't think we
or
need to.
a weekend?
I don't think we need to
Joyce,
next
that's,
week. Candidates night for sure.
That's a great
That's
job.
our plan.
all right, we need to approve some minutes.
Okay, is Joyce done?
Yeah, and I'm gonna change these,
She's gonna do
I
some-
never even saw that.
What did I just do with the rest of my minutes? I'm all set. Does everybody have a copy of the minutes? I'll look for mine.
I do have the letter from legal.
February 8th.
And that starts at what time? 4:30 next Thursday?
Candidates night is 7.
Is it February?
Not next Thursday.
Not
the
next
one
week,
after.
not next week.
I do have the letter
What's
from
the
legal.
date of the candidates?
Yes,
Fourth
it would be
I
February.
couldn't find it. I mean, I couldn't find where I sent it to them.
Well, no, you can call on
Okay.
the
We
board, your
didn't get
questions.
within the FYI.
Base page information, I'll read it
Yeah,
out.
it's in there for you.
Lots of conversations going on. No taker, we'll have to decipher all that.
Under Selectmen's reports, could we have, say that Kennard would be contacted to reach out to Selectman Constantino, or Selectman Constantino should reach out to Kennard?
Well, I had said that I would call Tony and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
Tony,
that's where it
it
went
has
down.
in fact,
Okay,
it's been resolved, yeah, no, I will be contacted to reach out.
that works.
I just didn't want.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Solutions. Such a great opportunity. Can we change, under Selectmen report, Selectmen Scanlon to guardrail posts?
Oh, real post, okay, good,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'll move we accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Selectmen's reports? John?
Selectmen reports, so the Budget Committee did meet last night and voted to recommend all of the warrant articles as they were written. That's pretty much it. That's all I got.
Pat?
I did meet with Tony Belanger from Kennard on the issue with the resident on Maple Court that wasn't able to get his trash picked up. He volunteered to actually plow the opposite side of the road on Maple Court, and I understand from Jane that he was actually there tonight plowing, so that all of the residents on Maple Court could put them in one place and the truck could back up and reach out and pick them all up at one time. And there was another issue with another neighbor that was able to be resolved very quickly at the same time. That's it. That's it for me.
Ashley?
Nothing.
Oh, there you are.
Or actually, I'll say, so Aroma Joe's is going to donate coffee and donuts for community night. For us.
Wow,
Nice.
excellent.
Good girl.
Okay, awesome. Peter?
Yeah, can we call Pernard and ask them on their truck if they could put a yellow flashing light on the front of it? Because when they're doing West Main first thing in the morning, the cars pull out to pass it. If you're coming the other way, there's no flashing light, so you don't know what's going on unless you're used to the traffic pattern. The other thing I noticed this morning on West Main, most of the residents set their barrels on the grass just off the edge of the sidewalk. On the way home, they were all set sort of half sidewalk, half grass, so why is he not putting the empty barrels outside of the sidewalk?
Back where you got him from?
Yeah, if the residents can stack them there, you should be able to put them back and keep them out of the sidewalk.
Gail, did you understand what Peter
Not
said?
really,
Did you get the part about the truck?
yes.
Okay.
I was watching one of the trucks. What-
Caution lights.
So then on sidewalk, the residents on,
Can I give you Tony's number and you can call
Yeah.
him or email him?
just email me the number,
Okay,
whatever,
perfect.
and that's fine.
Perfect.
I'll chat with them. Thank you. That's it for me.
Okay, so make sure Joyce doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, she's downstairs.
Go ahead.
We're
It
on
was-
camera.
Huh?
We're on camera.
On camera. Shut it off for a second.
Do you want
We're going to go into recess for a second.
to recess for a second? Okay.
Okay, we'll recess for a second.
We'll recess for...
Did I pass
We're
it
Red,
up
Red
to
is
you,
back
Gail?
from recess.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Did you get one?
Yes,
Everybody got one?
yes,
Oh, I get extras.
good.
All right. Are you all set, Peter?
Yes.
So Chuck Mitchell brought these by and then emailed me the PDF. He has improved, if you will, the layout for the election. I think it's great.
We're using the entire hall or half of it?
Half the hall. One, two. You don't need those tables there in this election. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7,
So we come in here and go right to the middle.
9. Looks like 9 tables. Well, he's got 11 on here, right? 1, 2. That's a small one. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything?
That's just for this one election?
No, this is our election format. So for the town election, excuse me, we won't need the stand-up tables.
One of the things is that the ballot clerk tables, at times we've split those into having 3 ballot clerks.
Well, that's for the presidentials, yeah. So that,
So
like I
this,
said.
this is adaptable.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, really, and I should have said, the most important thing to look at is the corridors.
Flow,
The-
yeah.
Yeah, the flow chart and the corridors. He's, moved the observers over here instead of behind the ballot clerks because that was cumbersome. The certified observers and then the observers over here. We had a problem with this setup for these observers.
Do we have enough rope
Hmm?
and stands to coordinate all this?
We might need some more stands, but, so some of this rope, if you're holding it up to the left side, isn't necessary because we use the wall itself.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I take it back, a little bit in the corner is because we leave a corridor for them to come in and out that door, the staff and
Yep.
students. So this long rope that goes along the stage area, and have one there.
Okay.
Anybody see anything that needs to be added or changed? No? All right.
That looks pretty good.
Anything else? It's almost up.
Yeah, just one thing, and we've got just 2 people for the housing standards.
That's all we need because the rest of them are all officials.
But aren't we supposed to appoint a board? The selectmen were supposed to appoint a board within 30 days after we established the housing standards.
The selectmen weren't appointing it. It was already part of the Housing Standard Board's defined what the makeup of the board is.
I thought, didn't the warrant article say that the selectmen within 30 days shall appoint a housing standards board?
We get it, they'd have a meeting, that the Housing Standard Boards would have a meeting, because if you look in the housing standards, it's the fire chief, police chief, health officer, town planner, a selectman, a tenant, and a landlord. So the tenant and the landlord really had to be found. The landlord, I believe, was on the previous committee, was it not, Pat? And then he found a tenant.
No, the tenant. The tenant was on
Well, one of the other.
Heath was on the
So
landlord.
this would be an appointment by,
Right, so these 2 were actually approving, saying yes.
It says, within 30 days of the adoption of this ordinance, the Board of Selectmen shall appoint a housing standards board. The housing board shall comprise of 7 members to include the town planner, who will serve as chairman. So that's the standards board, John.
Yeah.
That's the one I served on. Right? Then, the housing standard...
Is the ordinance
Oh,
in
no, wait a
there?
minute, no.
okay.
Within 30 days of the adoption of the ordinance, which was the ordinance that we put forth, we wrote, that the committee wrote, the Board of Selectmen shall appoint a housing standards board, which we should have done, we didn't. The housing standard board shall be comprised of 7 members to include the town planner, who shall serve as chairman, a member of the Board of Selectmen, the fire chief or designee, the code enforcement officer, the health officer, a landlord owning rental property within Tilton, and a tenant residing within Tilton.
So it wasn't the chief. It was
The housing standard boards shall meet at least once annually within 60 days after town meeting. Additional meetings may be convened by the chairman.
Okay, so
And they shall review the
So we're ready.
implementation and performance of this ordinance, propose any necessary amendments, and if necessary, development develop supplemental materials, including but not limited to forms, checklists, guidance, documents, which will facilitate implementation of this ordinance.
So, we've got these, because what I was looking at is usually when we have, like, appoint people for the budget committee, we have them come in and everybody says what they got, so this is all we have for appointments.
That's all you need, because the other positions are
We already have a
already
fire
filled by
chief,
people.
Yep.
we already have a board of selectmen,
So these need to be
Health
officially
officer.
appointed, so we should make all that official as appointments.
That's why we're signing
And
these.
these are just assignments, we don't motion or accept them?
No, you just sign it,
Is it,
or not.
because
They were gonna come in tonight, John, one of them was gonna, Chris was gonna come in tonight, but he's got the flu.
because usually on the budget committee, we have a vote for all the appointments.
Recommendation,
A
right.
recommendation, and we vote, we approve or appoint this person so that it's a majority.
Yeah,
So, but I guess this is,
that is the appointment sheet, so they can't serve unless that's signed by us and then sworn in and signed.
Didn't we leave that purview up to Dari to do that?
but we can't.
Didn't you ask him to do that?
He can't swear them in.
No, I mean, find the members.
That's what he's done.
Correct,
That's what we have.
correct.
And these are the only ones we found.
no, there's an alternate.
So
We don't have an alternate.
Yes, on the sheet that he sent us, we have an alternate, Jane Alden.
Why would we have an alternate for one position on this board?
It's what, it's on the email, did you get the email of the list
Yes,
of
and I
members?
responded back, if we're gonna have any alternates, it should be for all the positions, not
Is
just
it-
one. It makes
Well,
no
I guess that
sense.
was the only one that signed up for it, that's why I'm
But
saying.
we didn't vote to have an
Tenant.
alternate on this committee. The Board of Selectmen didn't vote to have an alternate on this committee,
I'm just
nor
trying to
did-
tell you what was on the email.
Yes, and it was a suggestion, not an appointment. He can appoint people to a committee, only the selectmen can, and we don't have an appointment sheet for anybody other than the members.
Okay, so these people come in to be sworn in by us?
Or the town clerk.
So,
Why wasn't the one, I don't understand why we asked a certain person to be on the committee, and she wasn't one of the ones asked to continue to be on the committee.
I have no idea. I didn't appoint these people. I didn't choose these people. For whatever reason,
well, you have to,
yeah.
because you're a selectman, so you're
Well,
going to have to
Going
choose an
this
appointment.
way, we are choosing them, but I didn't create this committee. And for whatever reason, this person was, I think it's nice to have this person who's never been on a board in the town. So that's kind of exciting. Maybe we can get them on other boards, like our budget committee. I think it's nice to have new people. Who's missing, Ashley? No, you.
And that just, because usually when a board's appointed by, like the budget committee has to appoint for any members that are missing or drop out or whatever. So that's done by the budget committee, they come in, they meet with them, somebody looks for candidates, hunts them out, and then they show up or whatever, but we all do a motion, we talk about so-and-so wants to be on it, and we have this
You
person,
can make a
that
motion
person.
if you want, but it's not necessary because you've affixed your signature to that document. But you make a motion
Yeah, it
if you
just
want.
automatically, 3 votes are an appointment. So,
Well, you've got 4 signatures on those documents.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you feel more comfortable making a motion, by all means do it.
so that is a statement itself, it's an appointment statement.
They can't serve without that. The budget committee is a little different because it's one committee, the budget committee appoints.
Yeah, it's an official.
Well, if anybody wants to know why or who or what, I would talk to Dari.
Is there a second?
Pardon?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yes.
So, I don't need this.
I think Joyce is getting something for you guys to sign, is that true?
No.